Hello and welcome back to the Find Your Feet podcast, a podcast show dedicated to helping you get closer to your true authentic self by helping you find your feet in life. Welcome to episode 61.
Hi everyone, welcome back. We hope you're good. Today we're going to be talking all about envy and jealousy and how you can use these different emotions to actually help your manifesting journey rather than bring you down.
Yes, this episode all stemmed from an email that we sent out last Monday by the time this comes out, and we got such amazing response from it. Everyone was just so shook by this concept that was brought to them in the email. So we thought we need to put it on the podcast. We need to expand on this. We need to talk about it some more. And it needs to exist on the podcast so that more people can get this life-changing message. You will never look at jealousy and envy the same after this conversation.
No, you literally won't, because I feel like everyone can resonate with it. I think that's why everyone with that email were like, oh my God, like they can so resonate. So I'm really excited to get into it. But before we get into the episode, we just have our Apple Podcast review of the week. And this review is off Izzy Troth, and she says, simply inspired. Just finished episode 57. I'm feeling so inspired, and the easiest way to describe this is that I'm feeling accepted and allowed, and most of all, welcomed. These girls really smash down the stereotypes of spiritual people who are simply focusing on themselves. I personally have felt very intimidated in the past about spirituality and self-care and meditation and all of the good stuff because it felt overwhelming and intense. Grace and Abs really simplify everything and make me want to learn more. Thank you both so much for helping me reflect on myself and take time for myself. Your podcast covers such important, yet unfortunately not talked about enough topics. A breath of fresh air in my life. Sending all the love and sunshine your way. How lovely.
I love that review so much.
Yeah, it was such a good roundup.
Yeah, I love that. I love that about what she said about the stereotypes, the spirituality stereotypes. I'm glad that we are bashing those stereotypes down because they're not true. And the true definition of spirituality is just to feel connected to the earth, like connected to the world. That's the definition of it if you Google it. So like that can come in any form. You can be, a big glamazon, you can and be spiritual, or if you want, you can wear the elephant pants that you wear when you go traveling and the stringer vest, if that's what works for you. You can do whatever you want, but it's just embracing something that we all have within us. So I'm glad that you're embracing it, and thank you very much for leaving us that beautiful review.
Yeah, thank you so much, Izzy. It's really lovely.
And for your chance to be featured in review of the week next week, if you want us to read out your review at the beginning of the next episode, all you need to do is leave us a nice review on Apple Podcasts and we will read it out at the beginning of next week's show. But in other exciting news, guys, we have announced our next online workshop, our next webinar, and we're doing it all about manifesting.
Yes, we are so excited. That scream really says it all. Like, I feel like this has been the workshop we've been looking forward to the most because we just bloody love manifesting, and the way we structured it, everything we have planned in it is just going to get you really kickstarted. Like anyone that, if you've like struggled in your manifesting journey, because we have quite a few messages, don't we, like asking little questions. This workshop is going to cover everything you need to know.
Yeah, it will just make manifesting make sense, splitting it down into steps. It's easy to digest and process because I think it can be like, there's so much information out there and a lot of conflicting information as well. Sometimes it should be very confusing, but it's not just going to be like purely spiritual vibes. We are also bringing like the scientific element to manifesting, all the brain science, all that stuff, because I think when you understand that, plus the spiritual side, you just believe it more. If you believe it more, then it has more power to actually work. And it just deepens your understanding and just makes you really realize how powerful you actually are. So yes, we are so excited. We absolutely love doing the self-love webinar. It was so much fun. So we are super hyped for this one. So if you want to join us, it's on the 25th of April at 6 p.m. live on Zoom, 6 p.m. GMT. So same time as last time for 2 hours. You can get your tickets on the website, findingyourfeetpodcast.com. And if you've got any questions about it, come and chat to us on Instagram. We'll be posting lots of taster info, all things like that on Instagram if you want to know more about it before you get your ticket. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good night.
Yeah, I'm already so excited. Like the buzz from the self-love one. I feel like everyone's still buzzing, so I just can't wait for the manifesting one
Yeah.
for us all get back together and just enjoy the night.
Yeah, that's why we wanted to get a date in for the next one, like ASAP, because we just loved the one last time. Like, it was just so good. And the one before that was amazing. They just get better and better each time. So we just wanted to get in another date so that we can bring some more magic, but this time on a new magical topic. So, yeah, manifesting, unlock your magnetic mind. That is what it's called. Come and join us. Ticket link in the description.
But before we get into the episode, we just have a quick word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. That's help, Help. We are literally so proud and so happy that we are sponsored by BetterHelp. Their mission is to help you start living a happier life today.
Yes, BetterHelp is a professional, secure online counselling service, and they've got a huge range of therapists on there with so many different expertise. They're all super, super high qualified, and they will set you up with a therapist in 48 hours. So there's no really long waiting time. You can literally be seen in just 2 days of making your account. So whatever your problem is, whatever you're struggling with at the minute, or if you just want to learn some more about yourself, there's so many therapists on there. There's somebody on there that can help you. So you just fill out a questionnaire about what are your needs, what do you want help with, and they'll literally match you with the perfect person in 48 hours. How amazing.
Yeah, it's a professional, secure online counseling service, and it's available for clients all over the world. You can access your account at any time and contact your therapist, and you will always receive a quick response. You can easily set up weekly video or phone sessions with your therapist and get the support that you need from the comfort of your own home. No awkward waiting rooms, no worrying about getting outside of your comfort zone. It's all from the comfort of your own home.
And another amazing thing about BetterHelp is it is so much more affordable than your traditional offline counselling. Just to give you an idea of how much more affordable it is, the last time I went to therapy was like the end of 2019, and it was face-to-face therapy. And I was paying like £200 a session. And with BetterHelp, you will be paying about £50 a session. So it is significantly cheaper because it's an online service, but that doesn't mean the quality is any less. It's just, yeah, because it's online, so they can charge less, and they really want to make therapy accessible for everyone. So if you're ready to take charge of your mental health, if you've been struggling, or even if you haven't been, but you just want to, step up and learn some more about yourself and just develop yourself some more, BetterHelp is the perfect place to go. And they are very kindly giving our listeners 10% off their first month of therapy. So to get this discount, all you need to do is go to the link in our show notes, betterhelp.com/finding your feet. That's betterhelp.com/finding your feet. The link is in the show notes. Just click through there, set up your account, fill out the questionnaire, and you will be seen in 2 days. But there's no shame in therapy. It's just like taking your mind to the gym, and you are so worth investing in the support if you need it. But yeah, that's all for now. Let's get into today's chat. So jealousy and envy, we all struggle with this in pretty much, actually, especially envy, like on a daily basis, because we experience it every day on social media. When you're scrolling on Instagram, you are 9 out of 10 times probably going to feel envious of whatever you're seeing, whether you register fully that you feel that way or not. It might just be on like a small little subtle bit of envy. You might not every single day be getting hit with serious envy, but we pretty much deal with these emotions every day, and there's so much like shame around these emotions. But actually, people get confused. Like, there's jealousy and envy are actually two different things. They've got two different definitions, and they serve two different purposes. But I feel like, so I definitely thought they were the same thing, and I think so many people do. Like, we're just brought up, and the way we use the terms in just our like general language in the UK is that they're like the same thing. But actually, just to clear up the definitions before we get into the chat today, jealousy is the fear of losing something that you already have. And envy is when you're feeling resentful of somebody else's things that somebody else has that you don't. So you're feeling resentful of and like envious of their possessions, their life circumstances and experiences, their success, their advantages. You'll feel envious of that, things that you don't actually obtain. Whereas jealousy is things that you do own, you do obtain, they're yours, but you fear losing them. And that's what triggers the jealousy.
Yeah, I think it's crazy, isn't it? Because I feel like growing up, I'm the same. I thought they were basically the same thing, but I thought that envy just meant you were like a spiteful version of jealous. But when you
Mm,
actually realize that they're completely different, I think that is like the first step to understanding it, because now like you can kind of, when you do feel those feelings, you can identify which one you're feeling, and I think that helps you like acknowledge why you're feeling it and move
mm.
through it, and obviously use it to your advantage, which is what we're going to talk about today. But yeah, that's a huge thing. I feel like not many people know like the huge difference.
Yeah, it's actually mad. But I felt like when we were in school, like the words were definitely just tied up together, and like it was associated with that green-eyed monster, and there was just even just that idea that you are a green-eyed monster if you feel these emotions just adds so much guilt to them. And with any emotions in life, like you're going to feel great emotions and you're going to feel not great emotions all times of the day, every day. Like it's just part of life, and you just need to like accept that and love yourself for that regardless. Like you have to just let yourself flow through the emotions, especially like us feminine beings. Like that's what the feminine energy is. Like we experience a whole range of emotions. We also go through like our menstrual cycle, which obviously changes so much of our hormones, which changes so much of our emotions. So when we're like feeling all these things like jealousy and envy, they're hard enough to deal with as it is, let alone throwing a bit of guilt and shame into the mix for even feeling them in the first place. Like we need to give ourselves a bloody break and just let ourselves feel what we feel. So I think that, and this is something I've really learned recently, is that the more that you resist what you're feeling, the more it's going to be there and it will not go away. When you just allow it, you just welcome it in, let it come in, let it sit down next to you, let it tell you what's going on, give it some attention, show it some love, be with it, and then it walks out the door and it goes off and it's happy and it leaves you alone. Like, but the more that you actually just resist doing that and you're like, no, I cannot feel these negative emotions. I cannot feel this. I must be happy and positive all the time. The more that they actually just linger there in the background and like don't leave you alone, but just journal things out. Just let it be. Let it be with you. That is true self-love, is to just let yourself feel everything that you feel and welcome it with warm, loving arms. And then the things that you actually don't want to feel, that don't feel great, you'll process them so much quicker and they'll just leave.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what we're going to speak about today. And we do always say that, don't we? How the importance of letting yourself feel something in order for it to pass, and not trying not to not feel too much shame towards it. Because I think that is a massive thing with envy and jealousy. You think, why am I feeling this? I shouldn't be feeling this. And then you kind of push it down. And then obviously, as we just said, the more you push it down, the more it's going to eat away at you. Because I feel like thoughts want to be acknowledged. And that's the way you can let go.
Yeah.
I think it same relates with like anxiety. The more you just kind of let your thoughts be there and then let them pass, rather than like trying to control your thoughts. I feel like the more control you add on, sometimes you lose control.
Yeah, sometimes you do just have to like surrender to things just being as they are, and it'll go back to how you actually want it to be quicker.
Yeah, exactly. And just as we were saying there, how envy and jealousy are completely different, just so you can understand it a little bit better, jealousy and envy actually show up in different pathways of the brain. So, love and envy are both linked by oxytocin. So, when you have that rush of oxytocin when you're in love, you obviously, everyone knows what it feels like to feel in love. You feel so happy. It's the same chemical, but it actually has a negative reaction when it's related to envy. So that's why I think this kind of like idea of envy being like more passionate, more spiteful comes from, because it's actually the same chemical reaction, but it just has a negative response. And then in relation to jealousy, this actually causes cortisol to raise in the body, which affects our serotonin levels. And our serotonin levels are what make us happy. So that's why when we're experiencing jealousy, we have a drop in mood and we don't feel as happy. But it's actually a completely different chemical response. So that's why I think it's really important to differentiate the two in order to understand why you're experiencing them. And then also, like, you'll notice within yourself how different you're feeling.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We love a bit of brain science. Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Abby. But the on on jealousy, like jealousy is a really tribal emotion. Like it's the fear of losing something you already have. So that fear, that drive that jealousy creates is what will have fueled our drive to protect like our food sources, or protected our place within the tribe, and everything from back in like the hunter gatherer days. And Abby has another interesting fact to share with us now about our brain evolution in terms of the hunter-gatherer days versus now. Please share, Dr. Abby.
I am enjoying the Dr. Abby, by the way. And yeah, so I read this in a book the other day and I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense why we're always like, you'll hear psychologists and stuff always comparing us to our hunter gatherer days. And sometimes I'm thinking, like, surely we've evolved a lot lately, but this made it all make more sense to me. So our minds are better adapted to our hunter gatherer days because 95% of human evolution took place there. Like before technology, cars, and everything was invented, 95% of our evolution took place there. So I just think that makes so much sense, like why we're so hardwired this way. But we actually, how much attention do we spend on like understanding why we're hardwired that way and like how we can effectively show up in this world as like a modern person? Like we barely spend any time doing that.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And like when you look at a lot of like the common like sort of things that people emotions that people suffer with like jealousy, but also like anxiety, like that can become really crippling and like take over for people, when actually that's a really primal like tribal bodily response, like in the form of like panic attacks and stuff. And obviously like I've just had this random thought now, you've just sparked it off, but how there's such a rise in this like mental health struggles for people now compared to like, you know, not even that long ago. It's on the rise so much. I wonder if because it's on the rise so much, it's going to make our human evolution change to adapt to this like new fast-paced modern world where we haven't had much, where we've only had 5% of our human evolution happening in the modern world now. The rest was all like like everything, like pre society that we have now, pre electricity, everything. Maybe it will like spur, because obviously like this, that anxiety, all that stuff, it's intensified so much more now in the fast-paced modern world we live in. Like there's so many triggers for it that aren't actually life or death but still trigger that anxious emotion, that and panic attacks and stuff like that. I wonder if this will actually make, because there's such a rise of it, if it will make human evolution, you know, evolve some more to reduce that. Because like what we're going to explain now, jealousy, like the emotion of it isn't necessarily needed to the extent that it was in this like abundant modern world that we now live in.
Yeah, that's so interesting actually that you've just said that, because I know what you mean in the sense of like when you think back to like hundreds of years ago, I would always say like, oh well, I bet there was nothing like this for mental health then. But maybe they didn't need it because
Mm,
they didn't, or even like further than hundreds of years, like back when, yeah, there wasn't much technology and stuff, like they didn't have that added stimulation. Like we were evolved the way we should. And now with all this new technology, suddenly I feel like there's like a lap over of where we're like, we're living in this modern world, but we're still 95% adapted to the old world. So like I feel like,
yeah.
yeah, this movement is like making history in a way. Like maybe people are gonna look back on these kind of conversations and be like, yeah, like this is where this change had to happen, and that is why there's such a rise in mental health.
It's very interesting. It just pops into my mind now. Maybe we should write a book about it. Do a TED talk. Joking. um yeah, so like jealousy back in the tribal days was like a very well needed emotion, because it drove us to protect like our food, like within the tribe you're in, making sure that you're getting enough food, protecting your food sources. And also like just, yeah, like if it's the fear of losing something you already have, you would have been scared of maybe being kicked out of the tribe or losing your place in the tribe, because back then being in a tribe was safe. That sense of community, being in a community, not even the sense, just actually being in a community was what kept you safe, because you all slept together in caves and you know, hid from big scary animals hunting you when you want to hunt them. You know, like it's all that was very very much needed. But now in this modern world that we live in, where food is everywhere, and I'm saying that, and I know that I'm saying that coming from a first world country, and obviously I know that that isn't the case across the whole world, but I'm just speaking here on about the world that we know, which is this first world country and all the other first world countries around. like there's food everywhere, there's money everywhere, there's like it's abundant. If you might struggle sometimes with money and not be able to not have enough money, not be able to buy as much food, whatever, but you actually have the power to obtain money and obtain food just through however you want to work or whatever. Like there's not the source of it is abundant, and so it's not necessary to fear that jealousy, have that jealous feeling, because it's not, nothing is detrimental on that level to your survival anymore. So like when you have that jealous feeling now, when you feel like you're going to lose something that you already have that jealous feeling, like you should just ask yourself, like, is what's triggering my jealousy necessary for me? Is it necessary for my survival? Or if it's not, then I should just probably let it go, because it is just like so much more easily sparked off in you because it used to be so needed back in the day, but it isn't anymore.
Yeah, that's so true. Because as well, when you think about jealousy, like when we're saying about like, yeah, back in our hunter gatherer days, like say if your partner was like at risk of leaving, that meant that was risk of your survival. Like they're gonna leave, they might not provide food. But now we have the same reactions. Like say we get jealous over our partner, the
Yeah.
same thing is happening within us, thinking like, oh my god, am I not going to survive? But obviously, our logical brain knows that we're going to survive, but it's about convincing that part within us and like recognizing like you just said, are my thoughts actually true? Like obviously our survival is not on the line, more than likely we're very privileged
Mm.
that it's never on the line. So yeah, it's kind of like reframing it. And I've just remembered, this is a bit random, but like I always find this really interesting. You know, when two people have sex, women release oxytocin because they need to get attached, because of like our tribal days, like we needed to become
Mm.
attached to the male to obviously like create a family in
Yeah.
chances for survival, but the man doesn't
Yeah.
have that reaction. I always found that so interesting. So it's like
Mm.
when people say like girls get attached after sex and all that shite, like it's literally because we're releasing oxytocin, because that's how we're hardwired. Like once you understand that, like you might actually just realize, oh, I'm just
Mm.
actually having a chemical reaction in my brain.
Yeah, and also actually, you just got me thinking about attachment styles, because I've just finished reading Attached by Dr. Adam Levine, and it's all about the attachment styles. And if you aren't aware of what attachment theory is, it's basically there's three styles that you can fit into or be like a combination of the two, and it's how you like behave in relationships and stuff. It's how you attach to other people. So there's anxious, avoidant, and secure. And secure, I mean, they all kind of like pretty self-explanatory. Like secure is that you're pretty secure in your attachment, and then obviously anxious is you're quite worried that they will leave. Like you, all the attachment styles, they all crave intimacy, they all crave closeness, they all want that relationship, but they all have these really different attachment styles that are very much to do with like a lot of it is, some of it is from like tribal days, hunter gatherer days, because what your attachment style was, it's based on like your childhood, how you received love in your childhood is kind of how you form your attachment style. But it's also it's not set in stone, like it can be changed and morphed. So your attachment style also changes throughout the years based on the experiences you have. Like if you maybe get burnt in a relationship, whatever, you might form a anxious attachment style or an avoidant attachment style rather than being secure. But a lot of like the attachment styles, they, what you were saying just then, like how you girls get that jealousy chemical when they have sex with guys, the same way with your attachment style, it's so that you would stay attached with that other person, because that was survival, that was what was safe. You had to stay with somebody else, yes, you could reproduce and make your own family, and also just because being alone was dangerous then. Like, I mean, sometimes it still is a bit dangerous, but it was dangerous then. Like you had to be together in like a tribe and in a community to be safe. So yeah, and but then like in the modern world now, those attachment styles like that, those chemicals that you were just explaining, and how we experience jealousy and stuff, it doesn't necessarily serve us anymore because we aren't in that survival situations day to day. But it's really interesting when you actually like take the time to learn about it and research it, then you understand why your emotions come up, why you behave the way you do. And then that's like, that scientific knowledge about what is actually going on here in your brain just helps you really just drop the guilt and the shame that you might feel out of being a bit needy in a relationship, or the shame you might feel about feeling jealousy. Like all this stuff, like it is very much, as well in like modern society, it's very, very, everyone wants to be like cool and like, oh, distant, and yeah, I don't need anyone, and oh, get people, oh, they're so needy, like that is portrayed as like uncool. And what's cool is to be like, yeah, I'm seeing loads of people because I'm just so chilled, and I could just, I don't get attached because I'm just too chilled and laid back. But actually, it's a lot of it is really like sign, like it responses in your brain, from like, yeah, childhood experience and like science and human evolution from the tribal days. So when you actually learn about it, you just like, I just understand myself so much more now, and you just stop beating yourself up for things that you do not need to beat yourself up about.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like Attach really helps you release judgment. I really like that book, especially how it explains that like no one's attachment style is wrong. Because I think a lot of people can
Yeah.
question how they are in relationships, definitely. And I think they just releases the shame and it helps you understand why you may be the way you are. I would honestly, I think everyone should read that book, shouldn't they?
Yeah, it really does if you're on the quest to becoming more self-aware, then that is a book that will definitely make you more self-aware of you and yourself. And like, I'm not in a relationship, but even for me, that was so interesting to read. And it's knowledge that I've now got, that when I do get in one, like I will definitely see the relationship probably completely differently, and not um things that definitely would have probably upset me before wouldn't upset me now, because you just understand like why you feel the way you do, why that other person might feel the way they do. It just makes so much sense. It's really, really good book. We'll link it in the show notes so you can get it. But it's really, really interesting. But if you have been like shamed a bit for being needy or whatever, because I feel like it's the anxious attachment style, that's
Mm.
this, let's say, I'm doing quotation things with my hands right now, that is like bad. To be needy is bad. But when you like when you read about it, like it just makes so much sense, and you stop feeling bad if that is how you are. But yeah, it's crazy.
It is. But next, we're going to move on to talking about envy. So, as we said, envy is different to jealousy. So, jealousy is fear of losing something you already have. So, for example, like maybe being jealous of a partner. And envy is being resentful of someone having something that you don't have. So, I'm sure we've all experienced this. And as we said before, this is becoming a huge problem, I feel like, because it's something that unconsciously happens on social media. Like, whether we like it or not, it's actually scientifically proven that it's an unconscious thing that we do, which scares me so much. It makes me want to get off social media. But obviously, learning about it and becoming aware is one of the best things you could do. And we're also going to talk about how you can use this envy in actually a really positive way to really like spur on your manifestations, go towards your goals.
Mm.
Because what is better than taking a negative emotion and turning it into a positive one?
Yes, this is a solution to your envy. There is a huge opportunity in your envious feelings. If you are feeling envy on a regular basis, if you're regularly getting triggered, you you are being blessed, my friend. You are being blessed by the universe with endless signs of of this envy, what you feel in envy of, who it is, whatever the situation is that you want, or the things you want to have that you don't have, that you're seeing other people have, that make you feel envy. If you keep getting that on a regular basis, that's actually just low, like signs from the universe that could be you. Because the only reason you feel envy, because you're not going to feel envious of everybody. Like there's absolutely loads of people in this world, well, not, I was going to say thousands, not even thousands, millions and millions and millions of them are going to have more success than you, more money than you, all this stuff. Like they're going to have more than you, and obviously there's going to be a lot of people like who will then look at you and want what you have. But there's loads of people in this world that have things that we don't have. But we don't feel envious of every single person in the world. We don't go around feeling envious about everybody. You only feel envy with certain people because you, on some level, relate to them. You see some sort of untapped potential within yourself when you look at them. Like everything in life is a mirror. We always say this. And if you just think about that as you go through life, it will make things make sense. But everything in life is a mirror. And in terms of envy, the mirror is that it's an opportunity for you to look in the mirror and see the untapped potential within yourself that you have, that you obtain, that you can pull out of you and start to exercise to get you to have what it is that you're feeling envious of that other person has. Like you'll only get triggered by people you relate to on some level. So anybody that you feel envious of, it's because you deep down know that actually, like, that could be you. So maybe they're highlighting to you that where maybe you could be working harder or whatever. And that is where there's opportunity in it. That's where you're like, right, I understand the difference now between jealousy and envy. And what I'm feeling now is a chance. It's an opportunity to look in the mirror and see that that could be you and use it as inspiration. Use them as expanders, which we've spoken about before, which are key for your manifesting journey and experiences in life, is to have expanders, because expanders are people that are bigger, further ahead than you, have things that you want. They're basically a physical they're an example in this physical reality of what is possible for you, and we get shown them all the time. And those people you feel envious of, they're expanders. But if you succumb to those feelings of, oh my god, I feel unworthy, I feel lack, I feel not enough, that can't be me, I'm self-doubt, if that's all the feelings that you let come up from envy, then you are failing the universe test. You want that. The universe knows you want it. You aren't taking the aligned action yet to be that, but that could be you. That could be you in the future. You have that untapped potential within you. And the universe is literally serving you a sign, a test. Here you go. Here's a person in this physical reality, because we all value the physical reality so much. We take it as gospel. We believe everything if we can see it physically. We don't believe as much things if we can't actually see it. So the universe knows that. So here's a big sign. The physical reality, evidence of somebody doing what you want. I'm showing you here that this can be done, with physical evidence of it being done through somebody else's life experience. And I'm showing it to you because that could be you. And your envy feeling is because you know that could be you and you want what they have. Because if you didn't know that could be you, or you didn't even want what they have, you wouldn't feel those feelings of envy. So that's where the opportunity is. That's where you have to look and look at it differently and think, there is no reason why that couldn't be me. And I resonate with this person on a certain level because that could be me and that is what I want. And there's no reason why I can't have it. And they are an expander for me. They're showing me what's possible. And I'm going to choose to be inspired by them rather than spiraling into comparison, self-doubt, and all that other unproductive, bad thoughts that just aren't going to get you any closer to your goal of what you want.
Yeah, I feel like we always say this, but it goes so well with envy as well, that I feel like it's a battle between the soul and the ego again, because the soul knows that the universe is abundant and it knows that that's an expander. Like the soul is nothing but love. And you can probably see when you're looking at that person, like they're expanding my awareness. But if you let your ego take over and you let those like comparison thoughts, those negative thoughts take over, that's when it's going to turn into the really negative emotion of envy. Because I feel like it is an ego thing. Like when we are envious of someone, it might be because they might have like reached a milestone before us, and then we're like, oh, but I haven't done that. That doesn't make me look as good. Da da da. But that is like the ego just getting louder and louder and thinking like just thoughts that aren't true. Like because that's not true. You don't look stupid. Like everyone's path is uniquely perfect. Like so that's not true. And your actual soul, your core essence knows that the universe is abundant, and they, as Grace just said, are reflecting to you the potential within you that you just haven't tapped into yet. So I think once you realize that, it just changes everything. You just think, oh my God, how can I use all these people as like a stepping stone? Like each expander you see, use them as a stepping stone, as a little step to get higher and higher to your goals, because that's what they would have done on their journey. They would have looked at people, been envious, of course, because that's the way we're all hardwired. And then they would have used it as a stepping stone, turned it around from envy and turned them into expanders and just soaked up all the love and inspiration.
Yeah, exactly. And like in life, if you want to move towards a goal, if you want to manifest something, whatever you're trying to do, you need to be clear about what it is that you want. What do you want? Why do you want it? And sometimes we don't know what we want. Like the universe knows that it wants to, that we want to experience things in life, but sometimes you're not that clear about what you want. So sometimes that's why when people want to do vision boards and things like that, they find it hard to actually put down on paper like images or just even a list of, this is my clear, like these are my manifestations, this is what I want to make happen into my life, this is what I want to take action on, this is what I want to make happen. And that's why like envy can actually be an opportunity to show you what you want, because maybe you get triggered and feel envious of somebody doing something that you didn't even really consider that necessarily you wanted. It might not have been going around your conscious that much. And again, that's where the opportunity is, because you're obviously, you feel that feeling for your reason, because envy is like, it is your soul. It's your soul crying out like, I want a bit of that. I want to do that. I want to try that. I want to experience this. I want to live that. I want that to be my truth. So sometimes we have to get served that envy, and there's actually opportunity in it to just really identify, what do you actually want? Because to successfully manifest, you have to be clear about what you want. You have to clearly identify what it is that you want. But even just with anything, when you're working towards a goal, say it's within your career, getting promoted, or where you have to set your sights on the job that you want. You have to set your sights on the title you want. You can obviously just chill and like just work hard and see what happens. But if you want to get something, like you have to be clear about what it is. So in the envy as well, there's opportunities there for you to really get clear about what it is that you actually want, because how else are we meant to know what we want without experiencing life a bit and seeing, oh, that looks nice, I'll have a bit of that. Like there's things that you don't even know exist that then you get presented maybe on social media or whatever, and then you feel envious of it, or just see it in real life. And that as well, it's just a chance for you to see, I want that. And yes, that can be mine. And I am going to allow that to expand me, expand my vision, expand my energy field to the universe to receive that as well, because I am worthy. But also, like when you see things that you're envious of, it doesn't mean you have to literally like directly copy and mimic exactly what that person has that you feel that envy to. If you just read into it, like let's say, and this is the example I used in the email, if you're jealous of somebody who like just travels the world, they're like a digital nomad, they just travel the world all the time, they work from a laptop and they just go wherever they want. You might see all that on Instagram and think, oh my God, I'm so jealous of that. But it doesn't mean that you then need to quit the job you actually like, or because you might like your career that's based in one place. It doesn't mean you have to quit your job and go and start traveling the world as a digital nomad and completely change your life. It doesn't mean you have to literally mimic that person exactly, but if you listen to it, what your soul is asking for, your soul is just asking there for more freedom. So you don't need to literally go and copy what that person's doing. You could just start to exercise and bring in more aspects of freedom into your life that your soul quite clearly wants. Because and do it that way. You don't need to literally be like, oh, they've got that, so I must have that exact thing. Like you can do it in your own way, but it just is showing like it's like a little soul message, like, oh, I'd like a bit more freedom, like let's exercise more freedom in our life. And then maybe you just do it in a different way. Rather than going all out and literally living nowhere, you can do it in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's all about really identifying the envy within yourself and questioning, like, why am I experiencing this envy? Like you said, you don't have to completely copy someone's life, but it could just mean that your soul is like screaming at you that it wants you to do something, even something you might have suppressed. Like there might be just part of your personality or part of your journey that you've suppressed. Maybe you've just wanted to forget about it and move on, but your soul might be highlighting to you like, actually, no, you're a bit envious of this person and you want what they've got. And I want anyone that's listening as well to realize that whatever you are envious of, and when you look at someone and you think, I wish I could have that, like you can have that, like 100%, it's already yours. Your soul is saying that potential is within you, and it wouldn't highlight that to you if that wasn't your path and your journey. So don't question it, and don't like put yourself down and think that's not attainable for me. If you are relating to that, then that means that's in your soul's journey. Because I was actually just thinking then, like if you think about it in the sense of if somebody won like a football match, like me and you, Grace, like we wouldn't feel 1 ounce of envy towards that, would we? Because
I would. I get really envious when Man United win. I just want to be on that pitch.
No, do you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
somebody
no, no,
else
no. Yeah,
that might want to be a footballer that sees someone score that goal, they think, why do they score that goal? Da, da, da. And they have that
yeah,
envy rage inside them because they see that potential. They want to be on that pitch, and that's what they need to follow. Whereas, like, for us, it would probably be something completely different, not football. But yeah, that just really helps you realize that you don't get envious of everyone, and the ones that you are getting envious of, it is a mirror. So question why. What is that mirroring back to you?
yeah. But also, just like a bit of advice: if anybody is struggling with envy on a really like just extreme level where it's just pretty much daily and it's really, really, really draining you and really you're just spiraling into self doubt and comparison on like an unmanageable level, just take a break. You need to just shut yourself off from even having the opportunity to see those envy triggers. So you need to maybe like if anybody you look at on social media that triggers you, it's nothing to do with them and it's everything to do with you. And that's a bit of a hard pill to swallow. So when you see somebody stepping into their truth and their power and that triggers you, it's because you haven't stepped into your truth or your power. And that's why you feel and you don't like them and you want to like you just maybe troll them if you're that, you know,
You're a
deep in
freak.
this. Yeah. But sometimes you can get so overwhelmed with the feeling of envy and that you just can't even climb your way out of it. So you have to give yourself a break. So you need to screen your triggers. You need to right now you're not ready for the opportunity in them. You just need to take a step back. So unfollow people on social media if they trigger you and then focus on healing, focus on your self-belief levels and just trust and believe in your inner potential and your and the things that you can do and become and create, because why could you not? You absolutely can, but the only limits we have are the limits in our minds. So just take a break from all your envy triggers, unfollow them on social media. You can refollow them again in the future because they will inspire you in the future once you've healed, because you'll realize actually I can be that too, and actually I want to follow them because they inspire me and I like their energy and it feeds me. But right now, you don't feel like that. So you need to just step away, unfollow them, take time off social media, just give yourself a break, focus on self love, self belief. You really need to be drilling in that you are worthy, that you can do this, that you just self belief, do your self belief affirmations, write them down, really, really, really focus on that if you're really struggling with envy at the minute. And then just slowly through that healing process of really just continually focusing on your self belief and telling yourself that you are enough, that you're worthy, that you can do this, that you have endless talents, endless opportunities, that you are capable, you will then be able to see the people that hit you with a little bit of envy and will stop hitting you with envy. It will start to just automatically start to hit you as inspiration. Like there's so many people that I follow online that are miles ahead of me, miles and miles and miles ahead of me, and they inspire the freaking hell out of me because I've got to that point where I'm like, I have that. I view envy and jealousy in this way. I understand that. I understand the brain science behind it. And also I've done the work to really increase my self-belief and know that I can do what I desire to do in this life and I can take chances and take risks and yeah, take chances on myself and do things. So now when I see them, they really inspire me, and that getting to that is possible. But if you aren't feeling that now, you just need to just cut off. You need to shut off the opportunity for you to be even seeing these triggers, because you need to just get some headspace. You need to take a minute and you need to focus on your self belief.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that actually. That's such a good tip because I think if you do take that time off as well, it gives you a chance to reframe why you're feeling that envy, because sometimes we just can't, when we're all in the hot whirlwind of it, we can't even understand why we're feeling a certain way. So I think, yeah, definitely take a step back if you're struggling, and then you're going to come back with such a good mindset around it. Like, I'm excited for everyone to listen to this episode because I think it is one of those like little life-changing tips where you think, and then it reframes the way you think about jealousy, envy, and you can use it for those positive emotions.
Yeah, exactly. Like I took a big chance on myself and quit my 9 to 5 job in October 2020 in the middle of a pandemic and thought I'm going to set up a business. I'm going to follow my dreams of doing this and obviously doing the podcast as well. But I literally quit the safety of that 9 to 5, and I did very well in that. did very well in my career for the 4 years, but I took the chance on myself and quit. And then as soon as I quit, oh my God, I was literally, it was my first week of like working basically for myself. And I was just filled to the brim with self-doubt and the self-belief. Everything that I thought I had was just like not there for like 2 weeks. And I was like, I've made a mistake. Oh my God, what have I done? Oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do this. And like my self-belief levels were like so not where they normally are. And I just had to and I was being triggered when I was on social media and seeing things. I just had to take myself away and was like, look, Grace, let's stop this now. Let's focus on self-belief. Let's do some affirmations. Let's focus on this. And I just focused on it and built that belief back up. And then, and it's gone now, thank God. But yeah, it happens to us all a lot. And you just have to do what you need to do to take yourself out of that moment and rebuild your mindset.
Yeah, exactly. We're only human at the end of the day, and as we just said, this is the way we're wired. So if we can work on reframing it and getting the best out of it we can, then there's not much more we can do.
Exactly. So to round up the episode, we're just going to give you a quote of the week. And this is my favorite quote. I absolutely love this at the minute. I even put it on my own Instagram. I love it that much. But I heard it in a Abraham Hicks meditation on YouTube a few months ago. And I stopped mid-meditation because I was like, that is such a good quote, and like wrote it down on my phone. So here it is. You are never deprived when someone else gains. Abundance expands proportionately to match desires.
Beautiful, beautiful. It just wraps up everything we just spoke about.
Yeah, powerful, powerful. So maybe you need to put that on your phone background. Maybe you need to print out and stick it somewhere so you can see it to get you out of that envy, that jealousy trap. When somebody else gains, you are never deprived, because what you want, the abundance that you want, it proportionately expands to match how much you desire it and believe. You are worthy of it. And let me tell you now, honey, you are so worthy of it. So yeah, hope you enjoyed today's episode. Absolutely loved doing this episode. It was a good chat, and some advice that we all need.
Yeah, for sure. I hope it's uplifted everyone's spirits and made them realize as well that you're not alone. We all experience these things. And now you know that you can look at them a different way. It's exciting. Like, who can you look at for an expander now?
Yeah, you're going to be like following all the inspirational people on Instagram now. But also, guys, so at the end of April, 29th of April, it is our 1 year podcast anniversary. Whoop whoop. 1 year finding your feet. How bloody exciting. And obviously we're very proud of ourselves for churning out an episode a week for a year, apart from when we took our season break, and then obviously we became a seasonless podcast. But this podcast would not be what it is without you guys. The community is everything. You guys are everything. I see you all. I feel you here with me when I sit behind this microphone, and you're not even here at like in this current moment, but you are everything. I love talking to you. We love connecting with you. We love the workshops because we actually get to spend time with you and get to know you. And this podcast would not be what it is without you guys and your feedback and you listening and interacting with us. So we want to celebrate you. So we're thinking we've had a really nice idea. For our 1 year anniversary episode, we want to do like a finders episode. So we want to invite a couple of you on the show to share your story. So, you know, your story of how you found your feet in life. So maybe like a manifesting success story, or a story about how you chased your dreams and what happened. A story about how maybe you've overcome something really difficult and you've got to a really good place in your life, like a journey of healing. Or maybe you are an expert in something that we would love to know about, that we don't know much about, we've not spoken about on the podcast. Something, what we all love to talk about, all the spiritual self-helpy stuff. Maybe you're an expert in something like that and you can come and actually on the show and teach us something. But we want to celebrate you in this 1 year anniversary because you guys are the best. So if you want to come on the show, We're going to put some more information about us on our Instagram, but we want to get like 3 of you on and do it in one episode. Not obviously 3 of you at the same time, but do separate interviews with each of you. I say interview, it's not going to be like you being grilled. Literally, you come with your story and we have a nice chat, and obviously you can ask us anything that you want. But we'll just have like a 15-minute conversation with you, and we'll put all 3 into like one episode. I just think it'd be a really lovely way to celebrate our anniversary, and just another way to connect with you guys. So if you feel like you've got something to share, if you want to come on the podcast, please don't be scared. It's not scary. We're so nice. We're really friendly, really nice. We'll make you feel really comfortable. So if you feel like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that, but then you get that second thought of, oh no, I can't do that. I'd be so nervous. I'm scared. Please don't be scared. Let your courage be bigger than your fear. We'd love to talk to you. So yeah, if you want to do it, then come and email us your story. We'll put our email address in the show notes, but it's just findingyourfeetpodcast@outlook.com. But email us what you'd like to speak about on the show, and yeah, and then we'll pick a few people to come on. But I think it'd be so beautiful. It makes me feel emotional just thinking about it.
Yeah, me too. It actually does. I was emotional, but yeah, when you started saying about the finders, because it's so true. Like they're the reason we're here. Like they literally mean everything to us. So I think it is a very, very lovely idea from you to celebrate them on this anniversary. And I think it'd be so nice to connect with them and record it. Really, like such a different vibe. It's going to be so, so fun. So yeah, please don't hold back if you're thinking, should I not? Just definitely email us, let us know your story, and we're just like really excited to connect with you on a whole different level.
Yeah, and you don't need to have like some huge mental, life-changing, crazy, extreme story, you know? Like everyone's story is so interesting and different. That's what I love as well about this community, is that, you know, when you're at the workshops and stuff and people are opening up and sharing like, when we do like the limiting belief exercise, oh, this is mine. I think this, what's like a mantra that I can use to oppose that? Like they're always so similar to what other people think. And that's so nice about this community, is that it is such like a support network for people, and it does make you feel less alone in your thoughts and problems, because you really do realize that actually everybody really kind of struggles and thinks the same things as you, and it just helps to like lift that off you so much. You don't need to have like some big huge mental, oh, I built $1 billion company after being fired from my job. Like you don't need to have some big crazy story. Like we just want to come and talk to you and connect with you. So I just think it'd be so nice. And like, if I was a listener of a podcast, I would really want to hear that. I'd want to listen to like what some of the guests, the listeners are like in the audience, that and listen to their stories. You know, people are interested in humans and like, you know, your life and who you are and your experience. So yeah, you don't feel like you need to have some like big mental story. Just come on the show. I can't wait to see who comes on. Like I can't wait to see the emails we get. But yeah, I think it'd be really fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited just thinking about it.
So if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, you know what to do. Hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. We release them every single Wednesday. And leave us a review for your chance to be featured in Review of the Week next week on next week's episode. And if you're listening on Spotify, hit follow so you always get notified of when we release a new episode. We release them every Wednesday and every Sunday.
Yes, and you can head to our website, findingyourfeetpodcast.com, to check out our meditations and affirmations, which we bang on about every single episode, recorded and planned by us. And also don't forget, you can now go and get your ticket for our next webinar, the Manifesting webinar. We are so excited for the next one. So if you have any questions at all about the webinar, affirmations, meditations, anything, you can just pop us a message on Instagram.
Yeah, come and follow us on Instagram at Finding Your Feet Podcast. That is where we are every single day of the week. You don't need to wait to just hear from us on here. You can connect to us every single day on Instagram. We love chatting to you guys in the DMs and the comments. So please do come and follow us and join our community on there.
We also have our Monday morning mailing list, which we describe as a little download from the soul, which we think of each week, and we write in a little email to you and send it to you on Monday morning. No annoying marketing, just pure inspiration, soul, energy. It's everything you need, and people absolutely love it. So you're missing out if you're not signed up to our email. So links in the show notes if you want to sign up for our email.
Yeah, this episode started in that mailing list. It started on an email. So you know, you are missing out every single week on some real good juice if you aren't signed up. So you know what Abby said, get down into the show notes and subscribe to our emails. And lastly, if you liked listening to this, but you'd love to watch it, you can now watch all of our big Wednesday episodes on our YouTube channel. Finding Your Feet podcast is our channel name. The link is to subscribe is also in the show notes. So if you would like to watch us on YouTube instead of just listening, you know where to go. Come and join our YouTube family. Leave us, give us a like, leave us a comment, and hit subscribe. And that's everything. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Please do let us know if you are up for coming on for our 1 year anniversary episode. I just think it'd be so amazing. So yeah, if you've got any questions by it, you know where to get us on Instagram, or just email us over your story and we will get chatting with you. But yeah, so lovely to be with you guys. I'll see you next week.
Bye.